right. I just want to thank you all for coming out today. And, you know, one of the things that really inspired us to mobilize today was the fact that the narrative we were hearing across the nation really wasn't talking about the ways in which this system isn't just about immigration, right? And I think a lot of the speakers today really highlighted what we want folks to understand is that the system, the police system, the immigration system, and all of the private companies that profit from those systems are connected. And it's not a coincidence that sometimes they end up being the same people, the same business people profiting, right? And so I think in terms of next steps, we would love for you to check us out online or talk to one of us today, and we can take down your contact information so we can keep you involved with the ámore network at amoreri.org. But also, you know, there's a lot more going on in this community in terms of organizing to fight against these systems. Linda and other folks, Linda, Justice, Kata, and a number of other folks who spoke today allowed for the Community Safety Act, or fought for the Community Safety Act to get passed. And what we've learned over the years is that a bill can get passed, but it doesn't mean anything unless it gets enforced. And that's what we see in this government over and over and over again, is that we can fight and we can pass legislation and we can elect officials, but if there is no accountability, we lose all of our power. And I think one of the things that I want to encourage folks to remember is that you have power when we're together. We're stronger together, right? And just, you know, one of the other things that I wanted to highlight, I think a lot of folks talked about history today. I've worked with Justice and other folks to do critical consciousness work in Providence, and so there's a whole lot of stuff that we need to unlearn to remember and understand the full extent of the trauma that we have. I think if there's anything you can take away from today is that the United States has been separating families since its very first baby step into democracy, so-called democracy, right? And so this nation was built on family separation. I think that's probably the most accurate statement you can make at this point, right? And so undoing a foundation like that is going to take a lot of work and a lot of painful conversations and undoing and relearning, and that's what we are all responsible for. And so I want you to stay in that fight, right? And so with that being said, I'd like to encourage you to look out. We're doing some really radical legislation on prison reform right now, looking to folks who've been formerly incarcerated and who are currently incarcerated, and we're trying to make a change to that system right there so that people are not walking out as zombies, essentially unable to reintegrate into society and unable to be and unable to live without living with the stigma of having a record. And so I want you to, you know, keep an eye out for that, where I can talk more about it, but I'm not going to, because I really want you to connect with ámore, you know. That's why we're here today, is because the ámore Alliance mobilized. We respond to individual cases, and that's what we were called to do, but we also decided in this moment that we needed to have a statewide or a general movement moment because it called for it, right? And so we just want you to know that if you want to keep fighting locally, if you want to support folks who are being separated from their families locally, if you want to support people who are experiencing police abuse inside and outside of the prison, if you want to support people experiencing hate crimes in this region, you can support ámore. And that's what you can do. So I'd like to thank you for coming out.
Hi, I'm Leslie, and I'm with the March for Racial Justice Rhode Island, and so we were working with ámore to bring this to you today. What we wanted to also add is not only with this issue specifically and talking about the ending of separating families, but that the other overarching issues that have been brought up today are directly impacting that specific issue. So I would urge you to go out, to educate, to support organizations that are working on racial inequity, gender inequity. They're all interlinked. And if we don't start addressing those issues as well, the issue that is happening at the border, the issue that is happening here, those things also don't get addressed. So, looking forward to seeing you guys around. We will have lots of actions that are happening throughout the summer and the fall. Thanks, guys. Peace.
Thank you. Thank you. And feel free to check out on the website. We have a post if you have any questions about the framing of this event. It's a statement on ámore's values and exactly what we were discussing today. And please feel free to reach out. Thank you again. Take care.